so I'm delighted to come. I told Rick earlier I really like his T-shirt. Rick, move your hands. Move your hands. And Greg, I guess we now know what's going in that new hangar out of the Rowan County Airport. It's Rick's spacecraft, right? The great thing is we don't have to worry about the runway extension because those things go up, right? Up and out. So, as you probably know, the city's been a bit more aggressive the last 2 years in sharing our opinion, and I've taken that role. That's been kind of my role as city manager, and I have to give it to Steve and his website. He's done a good job putting my antics in cartoon form. So for y'all to see. But I'll have to say, if I was the county manager, I'd be working just as hard as I am now for Mr. Sides and Mr. Pierce. But I'm not the county manager; I'm the city manager, and we have goals and objectives that they want me to accomplish. Over the last 2 years, we've done quite well. We've doubled our fund balance. We were in financial trouble 2 years ago. You read about it. We've doubled our fund balance since then. We've gotten 2 bond rating increases. The city is financially stable. We're doing quite well. We have been focusing lately on improving our downtown, which is what Mr. Pierce is suggesting that we do. It's the heart of our city. It's an economic engine. It's important to us, and so that's been our focus. You may have read lately about the mall and our involvement in the mall, especially on Steve's website, and we do have some concerns about the mall. And there's always 2 sides to a story, and at risk of not ever being invited back again to these meetings, here are concerns on the mall. The first concern is that our geologist says that there was a former SO station on Statesville Boulevard on the mall side. Now, why this is important is that SO station closed prior to the environmental regulations being put in place that required soil remediation and groundwater remediation. In fact, the mall was built before those environmental regulations went into place. So we're concerned, based on our experience in the downtown, that there's some risk out there at the mall. The county commissioner says they'll do a phase 1 and phase 2 as part of the contract. I think that'll take care of it. But we are concerned.
Where's your concern been for the last 25 years?
Sorry?
All of a sudden you become concerned because the county decided that? Where's your concern been the last 25 years? I ain't heard a word out of it.
We're concerned.
We're concerned.
We're concerned because our city residents pay county taxes. That's city money that's going out.
As I stated, you haven't been concerned the last 25 years, and they've still been your city residents. In fact, a lot of those people become your citizens just in the last 10 years. They weren't your residents then. They are now. They're not.
It was probably owned back then, not government, and so that changes the concern. The second concern that we have is that, again, this is tax money going to this project, and everybody has a smartphone. What type of smartphone do y'all have? I've got an Apple. Greg, what do you have?
Yeah.
Steve, what kind of smartphone do you have?
None.
Yeah, what kind of smartphone do you have? Samsung.
Are you giving us free smartphones?
No. 5 years ago, if you were in this room, what type of smartphone would you have? You got a BlackBerry. Top of the market back then. 5 years ago, if BlackBerry was on the market for sale and it sold for $80 million, it was doing pretty good. It was making a lot of money. Today, if it went on the market, you'd be lucky to get $8 or $10 million for it. You wouldn't be paying $120 million for BlackBerry today because its revenue is gone and its market is gone. So that's our concern about the mall, is it sold for $2.5 million. And now we're looking at putting $3.5 million of government funds into buying the mall.
Where'd you get that figure at? We didn't give it to you.
That's what the newspaper said.
Where'd the newspaper get it?
They didn't get it from us.
They didn't get it from us?
But the question I'd ask you, Commissioner Sides, is do you feel that paying more than $2.5 million is a good decision for the mall?
Well, I haven't announced that we're paying more than $2.5 million. I don't know where you get your information from.
Okay. Well,
You haven't been in our closed session meetings, I don't think.
have you offered more than $2.5 million?
You know that. It's like I said, Mr. Ferris, those are closed sessions. I'm not at liberty to give you a figure at this point in time.
Well, that's our concern. It's our understanding that no one
Well,
else
why is it your concern?
Because it's citizens' tax money that's going into this project. And so we have.
Where your concern been the last 25 years?
It was privately owned.
Concerns from Spencer citizens.
Oh, really? Yeah, not at all.
It was privately owned then. So
Our savings through the factory, that's taxpayers for that
Yeah.
as well.
and the taxes didn't go up 35.
I'm a utility consumer, and you borrow from the revenue that we spend on our water bill to prop up fiber.
And we're repaying that money.
Oh, yeah.
But, right now. But the concern is that there's no other bidders for the mall right now. And so we feel that if you wait a little bit, see how bad the county's budget is gonna be this year, that you may be able to get a better deal. Because right now, the guy who owns the mall is getting lease revenue off the mall. And so we feel a little bit more time on the mall, we'd get a better deal for the county taxpayer.
And I would say this to you, Mr. City Manager, when you become a county commissioner, you can make that decision. But until then, it's none of your damn business.
I'm not making any decision. I'm
Well, then don't make any
I'm very concerned as a citizen of the county.
It's not a concern to us. Our way of looking at it is when it was for sale for $2.5 million, there was a different board in place. Since that time, the board has changed, and so has our opinion of what we need to do. Now, I don't really appreciate the city manager coming to any forum or any type of public display and telling the county commissioners what they think we ought to do. I don't care what you think we ought to do. We're gonna do what we're gonna do because we're the elected officials by everybody in this county, not just by your elite little group down South Salisbury. So as far as those concerns, you got a piece of paper, I'll tell you what you can do with that piece of paper.
My third concern with the mall is that between the purchase price, between the cost to fix the roof and to rehab the mall, you mentioned a $50 million bond. Our numbers on the back of the napkin is a little bit less, maybe about 30 million, is, as a city, I don't see how I could take on a project of that magnitude without increasing the tax rate. And so we're concerned.
Hey, you were gonna take $7 million.
I'm sorry?
You were gonna take on $7 million.
That was off of lease revenue. So lease revenue was gonna pay for that building.
So lease for 3 years?
From state revenue. So that wasn't gonna impact our budget at all. Because lease revenue was going to make the debt payments.
Let me ask you
from
a
the state.
question. Just let me ask you one simple question. Under whose authority, under what charter does the city of Salisbury think it has the authority to overstep the county commissioners who are elected and charged with the thing of building or providing buildings for the school board? What you folks did when you decided that you were going to rescue the school board, why don't you put in a petition and take back Salisbury as a separate school district?
I think
Why don't you do that?
our focus at that time was trying to resolve an issue and to resolve a problem.
It's not your authority to do that. You are like the grandparent when a parent is trying to discipline or work with his children. I'll say work with, not discipline. Work with his children, and his children, the school board, go crying to grandma that they're not getting what they want. So you, in your magnanimous adventure, propose something that you, A, don't have the ability to do, okay? And then want to use a law to build it that you truncate what that law is, making believe that everything is okay. You are the least, I also watch the county.
The local government commission fixed that at Salisbury Learn.
Yes, well, but ironically, you know, we're having an election now for the mayor and the city council, and a few months ago, our mayor, Mr. Woodson, or whatever his name is, sat there at the end of one of the close of the meetings and congratulated all of the members, except for the new lady, on how wonderful it was that they've been in charge of Salisbury for so many years. Who's been in charge for 14 years, who's been on the board for 18 years, and so on. And I had a laugh as a person coming in from the outside, because I have a sneaking suspicion in the last 20 years, Salisbury has been in a rapid and spiraling decline under the management that they're so proud that they've been for the last 20 years. Now, when it comes to this 329 building, you weren't there when they took it over, so you're not criminally responsible for it. But what person that's in charge of government since 2000 would allow a government to take on a building that has tanks in the ground without having the original owner remediate it? Okay? That's a criminal act.
What happened is the tanks were removed, but they missed some, and Diener cleared the site for development, and so we took it on thinking that it was clean.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
sure that's what happened? Because 90% of what I get from you people is just barely the truth,
Right.
okay? Just barely.
I love the
truth.
healthy skepticism of government. I think
Yeah.
that's
Well,
fundamental of our
You know,
democracy.
the last time our mayor came here, we all sat here and listened to him, and nobody bothered to refute what he was saying because, and I try to do it, I'm trying to learn to be North Carolina nice. But the reality is, at some point in time, you have to call a spade a spade. And what you people are doing is a joke. Okay? I'm not going to waste any more of my time while you're here. So, I'm going. Anybody want to come?
But I think one of the best things about living in a democracy is the fact that we can come to meetings like this and share our opinion, and that we're allowed to share our opinion and share our concerns.
That's your problem right there, is that we are not a democracy, we are a republic.
That's right. And
I agree. We're a constitutional republic with law. I agree.
But I do like the idea that we can share opinions.
Right. And
Well, you raised the issue about us not doing an environmental study on the mall when it's way premature. But your board, your council had the opportunity to do a phase one on the property that they purchased or were given, and they didn't do it. In fact, I have on record that Bill Bergen and Gene Miller appeared before the Board of Commissioners and said, we have an environmental one assessment. I said, I want to see it. That was in December. They never even ordered one until April, and they never produced it until August. So who had something to hide? It certainly wasn't the county commission.
So my goal is I had a problem on that corner, and my goal was fixing it. And
You still have a problem.
And we've done
on
that.
that. You're not going to get a central office on it.
Well, I appreciate the fact that he wants to be sure that we don't make the same mistake they did by not doing that study and bringing that to our attention.
We didn't go down there when they got that property and say, look, you didn't do a phase one.
Right.
When they offered to give it to us, we asked for phase one. They swore they had one, they didn't, they lied. And they didn't even order one until April of the next, didn't get one until April of the next year. They hid it until August.
Well, let me correct that for a
So
second.
they're premature in telling us what to do.
Yeah, it's,
When the phase one was done, it was a county-funded project with a $6 million letter of endorsement from the current county
It was
commission.
not a county-funded project because we wanted it to be.
It wasn't.
We didn't authorize it.
But when the phase one was done, it wasn't a city project, it was a county-funded project, and the phase one was county-funded.
Project because we weren't a stakeholder, if you remember.
But that, we didn't do the phase one, it was a county project, and the county did the phase one.
You need to get you a dictionary and look up stakeholder.